what is it, the kanji pen? The kanji reader thing? Yeah, that's awesome. But uh, actually, they're the new sponsor of the Metropolis Met Pod, so buy a lot of them and tell them that you heard about it on the Metropolis Magazine MedPod. I haven't tried one out yet though, but if that actually works the way it says it works, that's awesome. Yes, yes, pineapple. It's true. Well, there certainly should be sound. Or if my mouth is not moving, that could be the other reason why there's no sound. That that I find that to be the case around me. Lag might also be that I was physically not moving as well. I have to be constantly in motion so people don't think that it's lagging or something. Never stop speaking. I have to filibuster the internet, and I will win. I do have a cold, by the way, yeah. So I have lots of nasty little tissues in my pocket. I'm going to sell them on eBay later if anybody would like actual snot made by the YouTube Japan Vlogger of the Year. Actually, the lovely fitness company Tipness gave me some free tissues. But whenever I have a real cold, like I just go out and I spend the 100 yen and I buy a couple things of like real tissues because these, first of all, there's only like 5 tissues in each one, and they tear your nose up to all hell. So I tend to just go, screw it, and I go for the full on thing there. I'm not sure where they're selling the kanji reader pens yet. uh, well, I was supposed to have a guess, but just before I was looking um, concernedly at my phone. This woman Diana was going to stop by for a little bit, but oh man, that's a color. Um, she was going to stop by, but unfortunately she's busy until like later today, and I've got some work to do, so I don't think I can wait around long enough for her to get on. Oh my god. Bizarre. Occasionally you just see these like runway model type gorgeous women walking around this neighborhood, and I should go over there and be like, "Hey babe, what's up?" Yeah, and I'm a little cold at the moment. I'm not quite at full speed, but I'm YouTube Japan Vlogger of the Year. That's right. You want to get down on your knees now or later? could save that for dessert if you'd like. I'll treat you to a little Yoshinoya Donburi first. Let's go. I'm actually we're trying to develop this like vlogger of the year, you know, character. I don't have it quite down yet though. It's like I have to really work on it a bit more, I think, you know. Because like if I don't ham it up, yeah. Let me ask you this: What the Buck is on, right? Sure. What the Buck was. What the Buck, vlogger of the year. Well, yeah, okay, he was, but in Japan, was he vlogger of the year in Japan? No, he wasn't. Burn, yeah. Master of Asia and the subcontinent, my friends. Woo! But I think I can't actually develop this character where I'm like, I'm vlogger of the year, because that would just be way too irritating, way too quickly, and not actually funny. It's funny for about 10 seconds, so I'm not going to do that. I totally have Japan covered. I am like an umbrella of awesome. No, an umbrella of awesome made of concrete. Oh, Muttley, sorry to get back to you on your email. I totally meant to. But just use the number you have. Seriously, dude. That's easier and more assured than any other way. Um, are these Sam's gloves? Is Sam also a sniper or a hobo? You can ask a question, Naruto, and it is, what do you have to do to get an apartment in Japan? Well, Naruto is the anime. I would go to the video I made on YouTube called FYI Housing, which explains all of that, and watch that video. That's what I would recommend doing. I explained it fully there. It's called Housing. If you search under my videos for housing, you'll find it. Or just FYI. It's f.y.i. So Cole, welcome to the party. Bovin, that's a very good question. No, but yes. It's a chicken and the egg kind of situation, and it's the one that I'm in right now. I'm a freelancer, basically, at the moment. I mean, I have like probably 6 jobs that, I mean, are continuous, like month to month, for at least more than like a couple months at the moment. But I don't have a single job that pays me more than anything else, so I'm a freelancer. So when I renew my visa, I have to show them like that I've paid taxes on all those jobs, letters from the companies like saying, actually, we like the job he's doing for us. We couldn't find a Japanese person who could do the same job. You know, we really need him to stay in the country, and some other like work like that. But unfortunately, that is only because I was already in the country, and I kind of slowly shifted over to freelance work. However, if you are on your first year here, how can you be in the country working and get the pay the taxes, do all that stuff? You know, unless it can't happen. So you have to be working. Work holiday visa and transition into self-sponsored visa would be possible. Yeah, actually, that's definitely. Actually, I can't. Again, this is why I have to preface all this. I'm not a freaking immigration lawyer. There might be some special case where they say no, because it's a work holiday visa. But I mean, it would be a difficult transition, because you'd have to find enough work, like freelance, within that year, right? So that's then the question is like, why would you want to do that as opposed to just getting a normal job? You know. Um, but yeah, I mean, technically, as far as I know, it is possible to transition from a work holiday visa into a self-sponsored visa. But I'm not sure. It's 12, just past 12 noon here in Tokyo. I'm sitting at a Tully's, as usual, in Roppongi. It is cold. There's a mighty metal heating fan thing, which I haven't turned on. I feel bad using it because it basically just like burns propane, but I should just turn it on at some point. Say, hey, fuck the environment, fuck the fact that they'll probably burn more gasoline. Oh, sweet. I think the staff heard me. Awesome. Nice. 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 So now I've got this like huge propane burning like flame above my head. Cool. Go ahead. Oh, feel that warmth. That's sudden. All right, Vovik, did I finish answering your question? Did I, was that a good enough answer? Basically, the thing here is, every visa in Japan is approved individually. But if you have your paperwork out of line, it makes it much, much easier for them to disapprove it individual for you specifically as an individual. So I mean, every case is looked at on its own merits, but so there's always a possibility. But you know, like I was just watching the news yesterday. There's some Filipino girl who was born here, raised. She's like 13, I think, 14. Her parents are visa overstayers, and they've been deported back to the Philippines. And she wants to stay here because she's grown up her whole life here. So they're petitioning, and they're getting people to sign petitions, and you know, they had a little sad like tearjerker story on the news last night about how she's trying to get all these names on petitions. But like, to be honest, legally, names on petitions don't mean shit. It doesn't have any effect on whether or not she's actually legally allowed to stay. But the people who are in charge of the visa process hit a certain breaking point where they just go, oh, screw it. All right, yeah, you can stay. And that rarely happens, but it's certainly not going to happen with you trying to transition from a work holiday to a freelance. I don't think getting a petition would help in that case. But basically, I mean, there's always a way. You know, there's always a way. Wow, that one had legs. Pineapple, but that yum, you bring up a good point. Oh wow, I can't hear now. Don't you love that after you blow your nose really big time? Like your hearing goes in one ear. That's pretty much the most awesome. Uh, Rubius Master, go masturbate. That's the most entertaining and productive thing you do with your life. But I will give you credit for playing Robeast, since about 5 people in the world know what that is. Actually, don't kick him. I know who he is. He just made a very, very, very hilarious reference to when I was 5 years old. Happy birthday, douchebag. I have your dude. So you know I have your address. Um, so I could technically send you something if I wanted to, but I didn't. But I do have your address. I wanted you to know that. Just so you know, I do have. It's not that I didn't have the address. Send you my snotty tissue. But happy birthday. I'm still older than you. Yeah, I update. I'm gonna add this to the little top thing. Not that anyone ever reads this thing. No, I'm totally gonna eBay the tissue. Absolutely gonna eBay it. Um, no. Well, technically, I guess that is kind of my brother. It's another guy I've known since like kindergarten. And we had this game we developed like in elementary school. I hope we were that young. Called Robies, where we would draw like a Voltron. It was like the most ghetto version of Voltron ever. We'd actually just draw our own Voltron on a piece of paper and like draw weapons on it, and then we'd have a judge and two players, and they'd have to fight each other, and the judge would determine like how much damage everything completed. We had all rules worked out. We had a money system. It was an incredibly complicated like and we called it the King Robies. God, I don't know. I probably don't. I wonder if I still have any of them in my parents' attic. Like my brother played it for like a week until he realized how fucking nerdy it was. It was like pre Pokemon. Seriously, if any of us 5-year-olds had been like into, I don't know, we were older than that. We were probably like 10. If any of us had been really like marketing gurus at large toy companies, we could have made so much money on that. Uh, Pineapple, you would know that. I never into D&D specifically. That was too mainstream for me. I guess it's a much nerdier, much more esoteric nerd shit. No, but I I liked other ones. Other ones that we played. I can't remember their names anymore. Pogs. Oh my God, Pit Thrasher. Pogs. I remember that. We used to do this thing. I can't remember why we did stuff that we did. Some of them. Oh yeah. I remember one. We used to take Arizona iced tea, um, like bottle caps, and like fill it with like coins, and then super glue to make like a puck, and we'd play some sort of like shuffleboard thing. Uh, that was awesome. Oh man, what else? There was a lot of cool shit we used to do when we were kids. Yeah. And then goes down goes Cleo. My, you notice actually, my first dog's name was Cleo, by the way. It's also my ATM pin number, just in case you were wondering. Just joking. Just joking. I don't actually use my dog as my pin number. Yeah, I grew up in New York. Crossbows and catapults, I remember that was awesome. Risk. But actually, the most fun I ever had, and this is really sad. When I was teaching high school in LA, I guess it was like 22, 23. The guy in charge of actually, now he's in charge of the English department there. A guy from the history department, and another gym coach. Like the four of us, and like we'd have rotating one fifth member, would play the World War II board game. It takes like 2 days to complete, like a full game. Uh, what was it called? Um, Not Risk. Oh no, it's far more complicated than Risk. Uh, World War II, it's dice, yeah, dice rolling. You have all the different weapons, like every different type of unit. This huge ass board, enormous board. Um, but it takes longer than Risk. Literally, we'd have to play over 2 days. Like we'd start on Friday night, and we'd finish like hopefully before school started on Monday, and we had to teach. Um, it's not Warhammer. It's not War. It's a Milton Bradley game. It's like it's World War. It's just called a World War II or something like that. Axis and Allies. Axis and Allies. That's what it was. Axis and Allies. That was the oldest and dorkiest I think I've been. Like, and if we didn't do that on the weekend, the four of us would go to like Vegas and get stripper glitter rubbed on our faces. Man, those were the days. Never play that one, Vogan. It's funny though, the strippers were never interested. We always needed that fifth player, and we're like, hey, if you want to come by the hotel room, we're halfway into a game of Axis and Allies. You can be Russia. They start with a very strong force lined along the western border. Memories. By the way, Tully's Coffee is selling a. Let's see if I can show it to you. A Fukubukuro. There's one. There's one Fukubukuro left. 3,000 yen for the Tully's Coffee Fukubukuro. I'm wondering what could possibly be of any value inside a Tully's Coffee. I mean, there's probably, I'm guessing, this is the non-exciting part of it. There's like a mug, a thing of coffee beans, and what, maybe a Tully's t-shirt. Yeah, it's gonna be a cup of coffee, but cup of coffee in a pound, in a cup, 3,000 yen. There better be more shit than that in there. Actually, if I get bored, I might go buy it. But it's so not exciting, though. I mean, a coffee shop Fukubukuro. What's up, Middle Year? Just what I do with the bra strap. It's still sitting there in my apartment. You know, it's I have not found a good use for it yet. There must be something I can use it, some other way I can strap something with it. Oh, by the way, yeah, just, this is just to piss off Kaina. Sorry about that. Meh, meh, you say? Meh, you say? Mm. Well, the thing is, like, I mean, the Fukubukuro generally should be like unisex. There should be something in there for everybody if it's a store like the 300 yen shop. But if it's like, a women's clothing store, obviously it's female. If it's a men's clothing store, obviously male. But seriously, I mean, I'm gonna face the other way. Tully's Coffee is not so exciting. And move closer to the heater. I hope you like my tie. Actually, I got this as a present from a company I used to work for just this morning. So this is my first time wearing this one out. My new Doraemon tie. But ooh, business people. You know, they probably have to do something impressive and functional for the world environment, their economy. Like myself, I have a lot of respect for you, good sirs. Now get back to your office, type stuff and stamp things. That's true, actually, Robius Master. You do wear a suit now. Hey, I'm wearing kind of a suit. I've got this jacket I've had since Chaminade, and you know, got a formal casual. You know, I guess it's the beard. I should shave this really. Having a cubicle is nice. Actually, I'm supposed to get this is big news in the land of TokyoCooney. I'm supposed to get my first cubicle either today or tomorrow. I've never actually had a cubicle in my life, but this company is giving me office space. Um, I'm only supposed to be working there like maybe 20 hours a week, but actually they're gonna give me a space. Actually, it's not a cubicle. Like office design. I'm gonna actually record this. It's kind of interesting. This is such a random topic, but it is actually quite interesting. There's a few key differences between Japanese offices and Western style offices. Like the concept of like cubicles or a personal space essentially do not exist in Tokyo, except if you're working in like a foreign company. Some foreign run companies in Japan, like Citibank or stuff like that, do have cubicles. But what they do for most offices is they have work islands. So basically, it's like a big rectangle. At the head of the rectangle is where the boss sits, okay? And then the tables like behind, like following alongside it, are all like facing opposite each other, like desk to desk facing each other. So the boss sits at the front, and there's a whole rectangle on either side of tables. But again, the workers are facing into the table. Everybody faces inwards with the chairs on the outside. And then those are like lined up next to each other, almost like aisles at a shopping, aisles at like a supermarket. And often there's even like the boss's chair will be like a little bit nicer than the other people's chairs. There's always like little things like that. It's so cute. It's so cute. Like the amount of um, I don't know. People want their. It's like I've got the boss type chair. You know. Um, there's other like weird things like actually anytime it's weird because most Japanese people are aware of this naturally, but they don't really ever think about it when they do it. But they do it constantly. And if you ask them, they'll say, "Oh, we don't do that really," but they do it. They absolutely do it. There's a seating arrangement in all situations based on the status of the people in the room, and no one has to say it. But the word for it is the kamiza, is the highest level seat, and the lowest level one is the shimoza. But basically, there's an understood, in any given layout of any room, it's understood from the layout of the room where the kamiza is and the shimoza is. And so, like, if you sit in the wrong seat at a business meeting, if you're a foreigner, they'll be like, all right, he's a gaijin, what does he know? But there's a specific order. And it's really weird how they figure it out. So I'll have to try and show that in a video at some point. It's hard to explain without showing it visually. But like an easy example would be in a taxi. The kamiza would be the seat behind the driver. The shimoza would be the seat next to the driver. In an elevator, there's even in elevators, there's the kamiza and the shimoza. The kamiza in the elevator is back and furthest away from the. If both sides have buttons, it's difficult. But if only one side has buttons, it's the side that doesn't have buttons and the back. And the shimoza would be the guy in front of the buttons. Like he has to push and hold the doors. But almost like every situation, like it can get ridiculous. There's a specific like it's almost exactly the same as like being told you have to ride bitch. But it's not only business. I mean, sometimes within families, like if a family goes into a restaurant, they'll probably sit, in a certain order based on like who technically is in charge of the family. Which they tell the father it's him, but usually not. But there's a lot of weird little differences like between a Japanese workplace and a foreign workplace like that. The ones I can think of offhand. But yeah, so actually I'm gonna get my first cubicle. No, not cubicle. My first little workstation island desk. But fortunately, I don't actually have to be there ever. I don't technically have to be there ever. But oh well. Becoming corporate, I suppose. Fizz to fizz. Read the bio. That's like 10 inches less. It's about dong-sized, distance below my talking head right now. That's what the bio there is for. Um, but I missed a lot of questions as I was explaining stuff like that about the seating thing. Please understand, like if I'm trying to explain something, it's really hard for me to read. I am not a good multitasker. I can barely chew gum and watch porn at the same time. So. Hilsey, why did you tell them about like smoking dope and W drifting? Uh, Godzilla Xmas tree. Actually, most of the Christmas lights are still up. All the lights have come down in department stores because of New Year's. So they had up all the New Year decorations. But the lights that are outside are mostly still up, from what I can tell. Um, Biz to fizz, no more there is in any other part of the world that I would say is liberal, open, and westernized. Of course, we have considerably more blue or perverted type material than you would have in, say, Iran or Saudi Arabia. But I mean, it's like any country in the world. Unfortunately, the number of people out there doing searches for Japan naked hot is very high. So there's a lot of people putting stuff on the internet to feed that appetite. But that does not represent the majority, or really represent in any way, what life or society is like in Japan. But thank you for your question. Essentially, that's the case. That YouTube bag has more pockets than I need. It pisses me off, actually. It's a totally impractical bag. It's more like a night bag, because I need a bag with one pocket. so I can dump all of my shit in there, and then I can go pull it out when I need it. But if it's split up between like 5 or 6 different pockets, then it's just like, well, it might be in this pocket. Oh, great, a zipper. Okay, I'll check in this one. Oh no, look, maybe it's in this one. I can't remember like which of the 5 pockets I put my fucking electric dictionary in. Like, and then I always put it back in the wrong one the next time. Only women can do things like this. Yeah, and then 5 hours later, I still don't have my electronic dictionary. Now, Pineapple, actually, I have been on a kind of small search. A guy named Rich Pav, who's a very good blogger, has his own website where actually he makes fun of my comedy group for sucking, but he says I'm good, so I can only be half pissed off at him. But he states that they do not exist and they never have existed. I don't know. He might be right. He might be right. So I'm kind of on a search to disprove the fact that he's disproved it. Like, I think it's out there somewhere. But it is the holy grail of YouTube Japan vlogging. The thing I'll say is, I bet this. I bet I could find one, but it will be inside a like sex shop. It will not be actually on a street. And there's the difference. I don't think it counts if it's inside a store. I think it has to be like on like a little back alley. If it has to be on a little back alley, then I don't think that's possible. It doesn't exist. Nah. And I actually definitely know a place you can get new like sexy underwear on the street, but not used or old stuff. Actually, there used to be like directly across from my apartment. This was like 3 years ago. Directly across from where I lived, there was this like little shady little, like it wasn't a store. It was just this like the front would have like a almost like beads like drape in front of it, and you'd go in and it was just vending machines that sold porn and stuff like that. But despite the really good business I personally saw them doing, they went out, and now it's become like it's just empty now, I think. But they got rid of it. That was there like the first couple months I lived in the neighborhood. But they would sell like like thongs and stuff like that in the vending machines. But it's not used. That's the thing. So I think what the legendary, it's the urban legend really. The urban legend is sold on the street basically used panties, and I don't think that exists. I have to agree. Rich Pav is probably right. They don't exist, and probably they never did. Possibly they never did. It's just one of those urban legends. But if you change one word slightly, then I think it does have possibility. Like if it's non-used, or if it's inside a building, or if it's so kind of weird. Not kind of weird. It's incredibly weird, but also fictitious. I think and actually, I think in my first video, I actually said used panty vending machines. Oh, I may have lied. But that's the thing. But not on the streets. In a building, I could definitely see it exists. Yeah, pre-warn, I guess I should say, is the really. Oh no, of course they're not washed. It's like Willie. It's the whole point. And also, I think the reason it gained such traction was because Tom Green did a thing on it when he went to Japan. Personally, I did not really like Tom Green's visit to Japan. I thought it was Uh, yeah, I didn't find it that funny. Jackass, however, I think that they did a fairly good job in Japan. If I had to compare the two, Metal Gear, you're absolutely right. Seriously, for me, that's hilarious. I think you might be right because he started to go downhill as soon as he got his Uniball as a big pen. Yeah, the wee man under the pylon. That's hilarious. That's the thing is I hated that film in some ways, like because as a foreigner living in Japan, I kind of get annoyed to see like foreign people coming here and harassing Japanese people and like upsetting the wa to an extent. But it was fucking it was funny. I'm sorry. Uh, Hello, Lemny. Yeah, Party Boy in the I think it was Yamada Denki or Yodobashi Camera, the electronics store. That was hilarious. Yeah, and you're right. Actually, Suji, for me, you're absolutely right. HG does exactly the same type of thing, but with HG, it's a bit more self-deprecating than it is with Jackass, like in the Japan thing. Just from mm, if I compare Dance Man in the electronics store. I mean, he's really teasing and harassing the guy. I can't see HG doing that. And obviously, the guy would know who HG is. And so the guard would probably just be laughing as well. So it's slightly different. Well, actually, I don't know if I'm going to have a guest. And even if she does come by, she's going to be much later and only very briefly. But so probably no guest this week. But I'll get on it for next week and the week after, obviously. Apologies. No, actually, I didn't really confirm it. It's my own fault. You met her once before. She's a Latin salsa dance teacher, and she has a studio here in Roppongi. Um, so she said she'd like in between her classes, um, she would come and like hang out. And actually, I have to give her a video I made for her. Where I confess that I love her. No, it's I made a pilot show for an exercise, uh, Latin dance exercise program. So I have to give that to her as well. But I don't know if she's gonna have a lot of time to hang out. No, I actually don't. No, I don't. Whatever. Don't be stupid. Ugh. Girls are gross. Anyway, whatever. Yeah. So for the work update, my God, it is now officially completely insane. Um, this is also probably one of the reasons I'm sick. Uh, I'm going to be appearing on two different TV shows. Uh, One of them doesn't start airing until April, and that'll be. It's none of these shows are good, by the way. Neither of them are good. One's Tokyo Eye. It's the travel show I do. Uh, One is an English language teaching, a program to teach English language in NHK. But if you live in Japan, it'll be on basically Monday through Friday on Channel 3 every day. So I'll be on like Japanese TV like every day, pretty much. Uh, then the other thing is I've been made the I don't know, community editor, something like that, at this company called JIB TV, which is a kogaisha, a child company of NHK. That's where I'm getting my new desk. And JIB TV is going to stream NHK World, so it'll be 24-hour NHK feed of English language programming about Japan. And I'm going to be in charge of basically writing all of the everything on the website because it's an English language website. Um, and I'm also going to be writing a blog on that and some other things. And I also was just hired to write a children's television show about a robot living with a family. Um, so that's the first time I've ever written a kids show. And then there's 2 other projects which I'm actually hoping get, accepted, but if they do, my life will become even more hellish and busy than it already is. So, yeah, but so those are all like the regular jobs. And then I teach one Tuesday afternoon class at KO Junior High School, and I teach, actually that's the last of the teaching, the KO Junior High School thing. And, what else? Oh yeah, writing the Negi for Metropolis Magazine, of course, doing my YouTube videos, doing, what else? Yeah, other stuff. I teach one class now. It's like 2 hours elective English class at a nice private school. It's good to have on my resume, and I want to have it there as long as possible, just because it's good to have. And the best thing about it is, even like over summer vacation, they pay me. It's awesome. It's a very sweet gig, and I have like 6 students, and it's just a elective like English class. I can do anything I want, so it's just such a sweet job. I never want to lose it, basically. And it's good to have on the resume, even though it's only one class a week, and it's only really like 2 or 3 times a month, maybe 8 months out of the year. On the resume, I can put like from this date to this date, I worked at KO, which is a fairly good name. So it's pretty good for like resume stuff. But anyway, so that's the work update. So I've been like crazy busy. But actually, most of it's just starting now. So it's going to be a new year full of work and fun. I do not have it made. I have no life anymore now. Oh yeah, you could definitely get a job teaching in a public school. Anybody could. I mean, it's not that hard. If you can get a visa to live in the country, if you can fulfill all the requirements of that for an expert in humanities visa, you can get hired to teach at a public school. But again, there's the requirements. Go look at the FYI visa video. The requirements for getting a visa for an expert in humanities is the name specifically of the English teaching visa. Oh yeah, the magazine I mentioned before, that's where I write a monthly thing there. Metropolis Magazine. I definitely check that out. There's a lot of good information in that. A lot of links to information as well, other than the original content they have there. It's all in English, yeah, it's in English. Yeah, I still do the opinion pieces for their podcast. I've been very busy. I did one just before the New Year's about Christmas. I just haven't put it up on my website. I was too busy. And now it's kind of a little bit after the fact. I have no idea really what I went to Union for, but while I was there, I studied television, radio, and film. And I had a second major in English and Textual Studies, which I never quite finished. Yeah, I think North Hawk is right about the money thing. 250,000 yen a month is pretty much the minimum. Actually, that's the minimum government will allow technically for a visa. You have to earn at least that much to qualify for a visa, technically. But I believe one time when I reapplied for my visa, I was earning less than that per month, all said and done. But they still approved it. So my GPA was like a B or something like that in high school. I remember what it was, like an 80 or 90 or something like that. I got 1340 on my SATs, which was pretty good, I guess, at the time. I had basically perfect on my verbals, and my math sucked. But yeah, that's true. That's true, Ruby Semester. I did kind of have you on that. Ooh! But the math I sucked at. I really sucked at math. But actually, I didn't get into any of the schools I really wanted to go to. For me, like, Syracuse was not my ultimate number one choice. I wanted to go to Northwestern, and I didn't get into Northwestern. Then it was down to University of Pennsylvania, or no, not the University. It was Penn State. Sorry, there's a very big difference there. There's a really good film program at Penn State I got into, and Syracuse. But Syracuse had a stronger TV program, whereas Penn State was pretty much just film. And if I was recommending for anyone to go into a career in media, I would say do not go into a film program. From everything I've seen of film programs, pretty much every film program, they're not good. If you can find like a video program, go into that. And the reason is I often find that film programs often are mostly hypothetical. It's a lot of sitting around talking about what makes movies good. And then maybe for your last year final project, you spend like several $1,000s to make a really artsy bullshit student film. And that sucks. But like places like Syracuse, they just had like rental cameras, like video rental cameras, and they're just like, all right, so by next weekend you have to film and edit and put together like a short film about this or this or this. And so I made like maybe 30 short films in my time at Syracuse, or worked on other people's short films because it was video. Who gives a shit? And I did news pieces, we did multi-camera stuff, we did video editing, which, linear, non-linear video editing. It was that stuff was actually useful. And so if I ever had to work in actual film, which barely exists anymore, I would understand all the concepts. But I think too many film programs get into theory too much and not enough practice. I mean, I hate to say it, but working in television is a lot like it's a trade more than it is like some artistic thing. Learning how to use like Maya, Avid, Final Cut Pro, how to work a basic video camera. Just being able to do all those things technically will give you, a huge step up. I mean, if you want to do like animation, for example, Premiere as well. I mean, but knowing how to do all those, use those programs, is a lot more important than having a robust knowledge of Russian filmmaking in the 1940s, because you're not going to get hired as like a production assistant on some program, which is most likely going to be your first job in the television world, because of your great expansive knowledge of German filmmaking. I came to Japan in 2001, about 2 months before 9/11. I don't work for Toyota, but I mean, a good thing to point out about the entertainment industry, really all this stuff, is that we all kind of work for Toyota. Like all of the major companies start losing money, and money for entertainment stuff gets cut back. It's as the economy shrinks on the whole, the money for entertainment shrinks. Like I'm in Roppongi, there's a lot of out of work massage girls in this place right now, because all the guys who are stressed out from a long day of work at their financial institution are no longer here. So, you would think massage girls are pretty much uh, recession proof, but that's not the case. Everything. Everything's connected. So actually, someone commented on one of my videos recently. I was gonna type back, but I just didn't at the time. They said like, "Oh no, Japan doesn't have any problems in the recession. It's just America." It's like, oh no. It is definitely not just America. Japan is gonna get housed. Reggie. They don't look armed though. I don't think they have any weapons. I'm safe. I was afraid, like cough. I was afraid they might attack me, take my money. Yeah, the one guy had the gray hair with the ponytail, the old George Carlin look. Give him credit for that, but you're not as cool as George Carlin, dude, so you can't wear that ponytail. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I used Premiere originally when I was on a PC, but now that I have a Mac, I use Final Cut Pro. I think either one is good. But just so you know, most of the companies actually, I don't know about the West, but in Japan, most of the companies I see professionally use Macs and Final Cut. Avid also is very popular, but not so much in Japan. Akane, have I had kids beer? What is kids beer? I kind of want to try kids beer. And after my drunken vlog the other night, I got to stay off the booze for a while. Man, I don't know why. Every time I get drunk now, I feel like I have to go online and be an idiot. And, and I got to tell you, mixing Genki drinks and tequila is not a good idea. Hello, Scotland. Well, thank you, Ian from Drugan Hill. But actually, the editing on my videos is incredibly simple, and I think that's the secret. The other thing is, I think sometimes people mistake good editing for steady camera work, and actually, when I have to really stop walking and filming, it's the real problem is YouTube. When it was really low definition, it didn't matter that it was shaky. But now that it's gone so high definition, you can really tell if the camera moves even a little. So having the camera not jerking all over the place, that's a huge thing. Yeah, and don't zoom in unless it's on a tripod. Yeah, but unfortunately, I think the days of walking and talking are done until I get a steady cam, which is not going to happen. I'm not going to get a freaking steady cam to do these vlogs. Well, actually, the thing I have to buy is because, unfortunately, my camera now, the one I won, the one I won, the new Sanya one, doesn't have a place to plug in a microphone. So I need to buy a camera that has a an audio link. Because the shitty part of my videos right now is the audio. Yeah, exactly. The camera I didn't give to my dad is now outlived its usefulness. Also, its battery it only lasts about 40 minutes of filming now on its battery, even less sometimes. So I think it's time to retire that camera. Could buy a new battery, but the thing is, it also it doesn't have the audio thing, which for the longest time I've been wanting to get the audio better by using a mic. I've been really wanting to. And actually, to be fair, I have to point out, my dad has a much nicer camera than I do anyway. So the camera he has now is so much better than the camera I have anyway. And he uses the camera to uh, film the dog, and that's about it. No, no, no. The last two cameras I used are the Sanyo. The one I bought, the one I got free. Before that, I used a Sony, and that had a tape, a cassette in it. The only thing I have kind of determined at this point in my life, I will never buy a camera that uses a cassette tape ever again. That's it. I'm done. If it doesn't have a flash card, that's all. I'm never going to use those cameras ever again. Um, yeah, but that's the thing. It's like the Sanyo that I won at that contest. They you can't attach a lens onto it. You can't put an audio feed, like microphone feed into it. So, Ian, no one asked me about. You're right. That's a lot of people ask me that question. Like, don't people say like, why the hell are you talking to yourself in public? But you know what? A person like frantically chatting with themselves in public, that's pretty much the number one sign to not talk to that person. You know, that the Japanese basically people are like, oh, look at that crazy man in the trench coat animatedly talking to himself. I'm gonna go start a conversation with him because he seems sane. You know, it's pretty much the universal signal for like freak, wacko, stay away. So no, not surprisingly, very few people actually try and start a conversation with me. Exactly, stay away from the crazy gaijin. I'm in Roppongi. There's the highway behind me. You can see like trucks flying by there, and I think that's Meiji-dori. No, that's not. What the hell am I talking? Meiji-dori. That's Higashi Gaien Dori, I think. And Roppongi Hills is just to my side. Tokyo Midtown. Actually, you can see Midtown. Whoa, over there. No, Vovin, it actually blows. No, no, and we should not set up a collection, uh, RoboMaster. We should definitely not set up a collection. Um, yeah, I think Roppongi does actually blow. I mean, I would go look at the videos I have saved on here of me talking to the guy Adrian. He's a bartender in Roppongi, and he gives his view on Roppongi, and he rates it. You know, he says it's a good place. So, you know, um, oh, the golden thing on top of one of the buildings in Tokyo, that's out in Asakusa. It's nicknamed the Golden Turd, but originally I've been told it was supposed to be a flame. It was designed by a French architect, I believe, and it's supposed to be like a torch with a flame coming off of it, but it looks a lot more like a giant golden turd or sperm. So that's what the locals call it. Kin Unko. Um, it's also even better. It's next to the Asahi headquarters building, which is actually, that's a great building. There's a nice lounge at the top where you can buy a moderately priced Asahi and get a great view of the city. But that building, all the windows are gold, except for the top of the building are white and kind of extrude from the building to make it look like a giant beer. But like that's one of those things like that I really appreciate about Japan. That it's kind of like an only in Japan thing. I don't think many other countries would actually design their brewery headquarters to look like a giant glass of beer. I think at some point someone might be like, you know, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe that's a bit over the top. Thank you, kind apple. Yeah, where's the giant called wife beater? That'd be funny. I think that's actually the Stella Artois brewery in Belgium. That's where they have that. That's how it's designed. Thank you, Landrede. Hey, later, dude. Thanks for stopping by, and happy birthday. And just so, wait, it's Kavner, right? Not, okay. I was wondering if it was Graziano, because actually I've talked to Graziano every now and then. I don't know if you talked to him in a while. Yeah, Graziano's married. He's on my MySpace, actually. Um, yeah, I'll try and get him on Facebook. You're right, I should do that. I haven't talked to him in a while. And last time I talked to him, it's amazing because I didn't speak to him much after like 7th, 8th grade. Wow, he's a guy now. He's like an adult dude, man. It's amazing. It's so weird talking to him since I haven't talked to him since junior high school. Anyway, yeah, I don't think that changed. And his funny too. His wife occasionally does acoustic guitar at the Cup near the Wanto train station. In Wanto, yeah. Anyway, all right, later, dude. Yes, I'm in Tokyo. Neret. I am. Pops Tokyo, like, is the question, when will we see that TV show? Like, cops are fine. I mean, I've never had a serious problem with them. There's the annoying thing about getting stopped and asking for your foreign identification card every now and then. I've got a lot of opinions on that, but, you know. I think I probably have, I think me and Adrian, the pungy bartender I just mentioned, we talked about that a lot in one of the older videos here. You know, yes, yes, Norfolk. I'm broadcasting from the northern hills of Pakistan. I'm being protected by the tribal leaders who want my message about Tokyo to get out. No, no Dreamstar 9. I have not. Although, actually, I don't know if this is true or not, but someone told me that about a year ago, my what do I do? Like the video of me in the Bruce Lee jumpsuit. Um, a clip of that appeared on Baksho Mundai's TV show, and they reportedly said that I was Baka. Like it was like they were showing a whole YouTube kind of thing, and then that person, who's a Japanese viewer, like researched YouTube and found the original video, and they emailed me and said, just so you know, you were on Baksho Mundai. They didn't tell me. The show didn't tell me. But I've not seen it personally. But it was quite a while ago. And yes, there is going to be another season of I Survived, a Japanese game show. I doubt I will be working on it though. The only time actually I've been interviewed by Japanese TV twice. Once was recently, about a week ago. I was stopped in Roppongi by TBS, and they showed me a picture of 4 people, 4 women, and asked which one I would like to marry as a foreigner. And I knew who all 4 of the people were, basically. There one, actually I wasn't too sure of, but she was done as a kimono and like a geisha look. The other two were a comedy manzai team that are basically their entire act is based on being ugly. And the fourth one was a new half, which is like a Japanese transsexual, transvestite. I'm not sure what you call it. So like they showed me the picture of the four, and I was like, oh come on, like how am I gonna pick like the new half or like the hideous like manzai duo, you know? And I certainly can't pick that one. But so they didn't. I don't think they used me because like. I mean, I knew who all four of the people were. I think they were probably going for like people to accidentally pick the new half, unawares of who it was. And then the other time, this actually made it on TV. I was in Ginza with another YouTuber. She's actually left Japan now, but she used to do videos. Her name was oh shit. The bartender at Sam and Dave's in Lacey's was her name. And so me and Lacey were in Ginza. We went for a coffee, and we walking down the street, and these random Japanese camera like crew stops us, and they're like, you know, what do you do to be environmental? And it was a really irritating, like, Osaka Manzai group. And so I told them I drink my own urine. And they're like, no, really, what do you do? And I'm like, no, seriously, I drink my own urine. Doesn't everyone do that? And they're like, no, come on, you have to tell us something that you, like, really do. And I eventually gave up, and I said I don't wash my clothes every day. And I don't remember what they used finally. It was like 5 seconds at most. But yeah, I find not washing your clothes is a good way too. I'm still learning it, and I've lived here 7 years. You never become like awesome at a foreign language to that level, in my opinion. I mean, listen to like Arnold Schwarzenegger or you know, who else? Former Secretary of State. What's his name? Ah, damn it. He talks like this. His name is very long and. Damn it. Kissinger, yeah. Like Kissinger or like Schwarzenegger. You know, they will never not sound foreign, yet they're, you know, living and functioning the way a native speaker would. I mean, better than most native speakers. So, I mean, unless you were raised in the country, like, you're not going to ever be a native speaker. And actually, I don't want to sound like a native speaker. If I sounded like a native speaker, it would actually probably reduce some of my work prospects in terms of like, well, on-camera entertainment. Behind camera, I don't think it would hurt, but it does. In some ways, the more perfect you get, the more Japanese kind of lose interest in you, unless you're like a what do you call it? Giving your opinion, a pundit. Unless you're a pundit, then they like them to be like spot on perfect, like Dave Spector or someone like that. Nihongo de nanika? Moto moto nihongo de nanika? Actually, I'm running out of battery power, and the little heater thing that they have next to me is not doing its job. So I'm gonna go see if I can find a electrical point. Actually, I think I'm just gonna go over to the Mosburger around the corner, get something to eat, maybe a hot cocoa. Ooh, that sounds nice. And then, but I'll be I'll be back online in probably like 10 minutes at most. So, hold on, kids. Oh no, I'm not gonna get junk food. I'm just gonna get hot cocoa. I swear, that's it. Okay, I'll be back in like 10 minutes. Yeah, and Brian's here, so sure. Actually, Brian is just one of the many assorted freaks who I love dearly, who have assembled in this show. Like, but Juggling Riverboy is a former guest on the show, and Riverboy, by the way, thank you for getting shit faced with me like early morning the other night. Man, that was horrible. I had had such a bad hangover after that. But anyway, I'll be back. Pineapple, Brian are in charge while I'm gone. All right, later. Most burgers a bit crowded, more crowded than I thought it would be. So I'm in like a little corner, but I have the electrical outlet, and I'm right next to the fire extinguisher in case anything happens. I'm the guy totally in charge, so I can vlog while I fight the fire, possibly. There's also an emergency ladder. It's pretty exciting, and there's instructions in Japanese and English on how to use. I kind of want to use it just for fun. I think they might get bothered though if I just crack that open and start rappelling from the second floor of the Mossberger. Oh yeah, but I mean, if anything does go down in the Mossberger today, that's my escape ladder. I'm going out first. I mean, that's here for me because I got this. I got the chair. I got the chair with the escape ladder. The other people in this restaurant got the chairs without an escape ladder. So maybe they should have sat a little bit more carefully. I don't know. I tried Rosetta Stone just because I had heard so much about it. People kept asking about it, so I tried it just to see if it worked. It seems all right. I mean, it's just another way to study. You know, it's like Pimsleur, Rosetta Stone, regular books you buy at stores. None of these things have any value in and of themselves. It only matters if you use it a lot or not. I mean, you could learn like any language using just a dictionary, pretty much, as long as you are committed to learning it. I mean, more about the amount of effort and time you put into it, I think, than the quality of the materials you use. Although some materials might be easier, but I mean, I see this a lot with Japanese people. They constantly discuss the best way to learn English, but nobody actually studies. You know, or they spend all their time. I mean, I even found it to be the same for my own study. I spent a lot of time. Actually, I spent more time making flashcards of vocabulary words than I actually spent using those flashcards to memorize the words. So I went through all this effort to make the flashcards, and then I never actually used them. So it's like, to be blunt, it's if you get perfect, para as Dreamstar at 9 says, or better at the language, it's really up to whether or not you studied. And again, some people have a better aptitude to language than others do. Not everybody has a great aptitude to language, but it really is a lot about how much effort you put into it, personally.
and it's not the Matrix. It's even like we were talking at the very, very beginning of today's broadcast about this kanji reader pen. A kanji reader pen is like, that's a great idea. That's a really cool, technology. But if anything, it could actually make you learn slower because it'll help you cheat your way out of learning stuff rather than actually learning it. Well, Diana, I moved, by the way. Really nowhere to sit even if she does show up. Oh well, I'm liking this this light in my face. But I'm right next to the electrical outlet, as well as the escape ladder. So it's a pretty awesome seat.
番のお客様、大変お待たせしました。ハンバーガーのセットでございますね。すいません、ごちそうさまでした。失礼します。
You got a burger. Nice. Really hard to text message when your hands get cold. Like it's all right. Yeah, text messaging sucks. Japanese people love it though. For me, I have a fairly strict rule on text messaging, which is if it's to give me a piece of information or to check something like a simple question, it's fine. But if we're gonna have a conversation, just call. Really, just call, because Japanese people tend to want to have like a long conversation over text messaging, which could have been done in like 5 seconds on the phone. But but then again, sometimes it's nice when you're on the train and you have nothing else to do, like you can text message people. And I know that too. Like I often will get a text message from someone who'll be like, "Hey, really cold today. I hope you're wearing a hat." I would think like you're only sending this message because you're in some place and you have nothing else to do, and so you look through your list of people. It's like, who could I send a meaningless message to interrupt their day? Oh, Kevin, I haven't talked to him in a while, so I'm gonna bother him with this meaningless message, and hopefully he's also not doing anything, so he can message me back and eat up the time that I'm spending doing nothing. It's like, no, Pineapple, you're allowed to text message me. This rule does not apply to cute girls. I should point that out. This rule, absolutely, cute girls are allowed to text message me anytime, night or day, 24 hours, with really any meaningless conversation is even better. That's fine. But for other people, no. Yeah, unless there's some content to the message, that it gets really irritating when people message for no reason. Richard the Nerd. I do not want to spend the entire time vlogging about my ability to speak Japanese. I have videos posted in which I give entire speeches in Japanese. If you want to see my Japanese ability, go to the YouTube live video where I did the thing there, or look at my stand-up, which is on my YouTube site, which is in Japanese. Well, actually, text messaging in Japanese is a lot easier than it is in English. Let's see, it's gonna be difficult to do in reverse, but I don't know how well I can do this and if this will show up, but probably not gonna show up well at all. So there's the message thing, and you press like the center thing to get into the typing area, and then the keys are set up. So one is hot, so by the Japanese phonetic system. So damn it. A, I, U, E, O, Kaki, Kuke, To, Sashi, Suse, So, Tachi, Tsute, To, Nani, Nini, No, all the different kana per number. So then you'd start off with like, I don't want to type. Man, typing in reverse is tough. I don't know. What should I type? So yeah, I don't type in Romaji to write Japanese. Like Chinese, you type in pinyin, which is basically Romaji, which means the Roman alphabet. But in Japanese, they have like the two phonetic alphabets, katakana or hiragana. So right here I'm writing in hiragana. Here, let's start. So now it's on E, which means it's English. I have to change to see numbers. Now it's hiragana, and then you type A, I, U, E, O. I, U, E, Mo, Sa, Sa, Shi. And actually down at the bottom, there's a predictive text, and it's asking me if I want to write omoshirokata, but I don't want to write that. I want to write it in kanji properly. So anyway, after you type in the full thing in hiragana, you press down, and it will automatically change the hiragana to the most likely kanji. So omoshiroi and hiragana became, the two kanji for omoshiroi. But there might be other ones, so you can go and look through other possible, but actually I don't want those. I want to go back to that. And there, I can select, set, and we have now written not interesting, moshokunai, which is pretty much what this video you just watched is. But basically, that's the process of writing a Japanese text message. But that process is generally faster than writing in English. I don't know, it's weird. Like in English, typing is fairly painstaking because I think, like a single word, like hello, let's see, you have to type, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15 keystrokes to get to hello. But konnichiwa. 3, 6. Actually, it could even be more. I mean, it depends on the word, of course. But like, for some reason, it just seems to be faster in Japanese. Like, and also I think it's social. Japanese people just socially like texting more than they like speaking on the phone. So I think if you want to keep in contact with someone during the day, because a lot of people text here on the trains and in their offices when they're supposed to be working, so that could be another social reason for it. I don't know, but anyway, that's how to text in Japanese. Yeah, texting during work is everywhere probably. I don't think, does anyone do work at work anymore? Probably not. I mean, but anyway, I do want you to see my cell phone. Isn't that a nice cell phone? That's a really nice cell phone. Actually, I just saw in the newspaper that China again is trying to crack down on. They cut Google and several other search sites are being shut down in China because they allow people to access pornography. So China is like, again, they did this about a year ago, I remember. They're trying to cut down on people's access to pornography, which the conspiracy theorist in me says this is all practice for when they eventually cut down on freedom of speech type stuff. But it's just hilarious because like you got over 1 billion people. That's 500,000 men. So 500 million men, at least. You're not gonna stop people from accessing porn. I mean, seriously. I mean, good luck with that. Seriously, China. Good luck with that. I mean, there's no way. If parents can't stop their kids from doing it, then how is like a central government going to stop? You know. And it's also, it's like once the cat is out of the bag, I think it's possible to do that in the countries that have like religious mores. There's other ways you can stop and cut down people from viewing that stuff. So maybe in some extremely devout nations it's possible. But as soon as people get computers, they just have access to everywhere. And actually, I just saw a piece on CNN called, I think it's called 3OD, something like that. Basically, they're going to set up a satellite network around the world, giving internet access to basically anywhere in the globe, specifically at focusing on people like in Africa or other places that have very low penetration of fiber optic cable and stuff like that. So it's kind of weird. Like, you know, I don't think any central government could at this point cut down on people's access to information. And once you have a satellite system set up for pretty much anyone who has the hardware to access it, independently of a wireless, independently of like a landline network, I mean, it's just impossible to control information, you know? And so I'm not defending porn necessarily, but this also includes like freedom of speech, political discussion. But I mean, porn is like where they often start and say, hey, we have to regulate this, this, and this. But then what about anti-establishment discussion, you know, all sorts of things. Actually, that's the only thing I can think of. You know what? I could not do a broadcast without someone saying I look tired. Yes, I do. I also have a cold. That could be why. It wasn't an onion ring. I did no, that was not an onion ring. I totally am not eating junk food anymore, so that could not be a onion ring. So if you do see me eating anything in the shape of a fried food, it's probably not what you think it is. Yes, I have a rhinovirus. Exactly. Totally have a rhinovirus. Oh, and the asparagus burger sucked hard, by the way. I have not eaten anything more disgusting than that asparagus burger. But like I walked past that and literally I just like, how can I not film me eating that? That was awful. Because asparagus, like, you can never bite all the way through asparagus. That was the main problem is actually trying to eat that burger. It is not designed for any possible human consumption. It was just a hot mess all over my face. Because like when you bite into the asparagus, you just end up pulling out all this white, like cream sauce bullshit onto your face. It looks like you just finished your first film in Hollywood. And then there's like bacon thrown in there. Bacon is the other thing. I mean, I love a bacon cheeseburger, but a lot of times bacon will fuck you up because the bacon doesn't quite bite. Like some little string of tendon hangs on there and just pulls out the entire insides of the burger onto your lap. It's always like the structural fortitude of the burger anatomy. That's something that concerns me a lot. I like a burger where I can get a bite of a piece and the back doesn't shoot out the front, you know, or like a piece that doesn't like. I mean, sometimes it's nice when you get that like burger juice drizzling down your wrists. You know, it's just you're just like like that, and then just juice drizzling down your. Wait a minute, it's starting to sound. Little. Oh. Oh, you're right. I should update the status. And I'm not the only person here with a laptop, by the way. There's like 2 people next to me with laptops. This is current location, by the way. I'm on the 2nd floor. There's a 3rd and 4th floor, which is crazy. A four-story hamburger shop. The 3rd and 4th floor is smoking. Oh my god, it's like a World War I bunker in there. But yeah, I've got my own little corner. That would be hilarious if the people next to me were watching my show. But I don't think they are. They look like they're working. And there's this woman, she's debating. She's like, oh, should I sit here? But she doesn't want to, but let's see, what's she gonna do? What's she gonna do? Oh, she's going for it. Yeah, sit next to the crazy person talking to themselves. That's the thing with Greg. You never know. Greg the Gaijin. You never know who does. As I often say, because a lot of foreigners in Japan love to shoot their mouth off, like on the train or in, stores and stuff. But beware the Asian American. Beware the Asian American. Because you never know. You never know what they're like ninjas just planted in among the locals. And you could think you're like, oh, saying this thing. And, no one will understand what I'm saying. Even if they studied English, they couldn't understand what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Kind of story. It's the same. It's the same. But also, I mean, I've met a lot of Japanese people whose English is excellent, absolutely excellent. I mean, it just goes to show you shouldn't talk shit about people in front of them. Oh, sorry, I have to add that part at the end there. You shouldn't talk shit about people in front of them. But that's the funniest thing though. Like, you never know, right? You never know. And I see like I've talked to French people and like Germans, and they say that they go pretty much, you know, free will because the odds of someone in the room speaking English pretty low, but the odds of someone speaking like Persian or you know, Hindi extremely low. So I think if you're in a language that's slightly less world recognized, it's a little bit easier. Well, even like I work right now with this one job. There's like two French people in the office. One's the design guy, one's kind of the producer. And every now and then, the two of them will just start going back and forth in French to each other very animatedly. And then like one of them will laugh. And it's like, what the hell did you guys just talk about? Totally know that they were talking about something in the room, you know. But they can do that, you know. They can just bust out in their French and talk about something. It's very disconcerting. NDL, where were you when that happened? Ah, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say if that's strange in other places. Like, actually, I've often found the Japanese, um, they think they're just embarrassed to use their English, so they'll try sometimes the Japanese first because they think their English is bad, so they don't want to use it. But then there's the other thing I've seen, like where they're really excited to use their English, and no matter how bad it is, they really want to try it on you. So I've seen both patterns. And like foreigners react to those two situations in any number of different ways. Mostly, people get uppity and say, if they speak Japanese, they often say, "Speak to me in Japanese, damn it." You know, and if they don't speak Japanese, they often say, "Why do you expect that I should speak the language? I'm a foreigner." You know, so that's kind of irritating. But actually, like the Tully's I was just at, I got served by a very dark-skinned guy. I don't know if he was black. He could have been Indonesian, very dark, like southern Asian. Um, and his name tag said Anthony. And it's just this weird thing, like where I ordered the coffee, and I ordered it like basically in English. I just said, you know, tall drip. That's, you know, the same it would be. It's like it would be toru dripu, you know, maybe in Japanese. So I said tall drip, and he said sure. And when I heard sure, it's like, okay, yeah, this guy's he's on board with the English ordering style. And then I was like, wait a minute, no, I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna give him an arigato at the end. And so I went in for the arigato, and he totally trumped it with his like, yeah, you all have a nice day. I was like, okay, all right, I'll do that. You know. So it was like, it's weird. Like you don't know. Sometimes you meet people like in the service industry, and actually I've noticed it a lot recently, like at Starbucks or Tully's. More and more they're having actual foreigners in the shops. I think to add ambiance. And yeah, it's weird. I never know what to do. And tobacco is a vegetable. A lot of people forget that. Actually, I've been good so far. Seventh, I haven't used any tobacco so far. Basically. Yeah, but I'm basically I'm done with that. Totally done with it. And I only did it for about a year. To be fair, seriously, I've only used that for about a year. So. Actually, the one of the things, it's kind of in my mind right now. The only tobacco shop in all of Japan, there's one that sells Swedish. They're kind of like a bandit, like snuff. Little bags of tobacco, like you put in your lip. There's only one shop in all of Japan, and it's just down the road there. And I rarely come to Roppongi anymore. The only reason I came is so I can meet up with Diane, give her her DVD, and I could have some eye candy for you guys. But like, I don't know. Like, I'm really tempted to go after I log off and buy a tin of snus. But like so far, I don't have any in my possession, so I can't. And if I go home today without buying it, then I did update the sorry guys, I did update the thing. I said I changed the word Tully's to Mosburger. Anyway, I'm at Mosburger. But yes, it's kind of tempting to go buy a tin, but I'm not going to. It's confusing. Status update. No, I get Tom Green so much. My favorite Tom Green lookalike moment, though, was I actually went to see Freddy Got Fingered in the theater, and I was one of like 5 people at the theater. It's funny that like his main audience now is probably people who look like him. And there's like 3 kids and a couple rows in front of me, like talking shit about how bad the movie sucked, like the whole way through. And so at the end, like so 3/4 of the movie, I was like, "Hey guys, cut it out! I worked hard on this." And they turned around, like, "Oh shit! Oh shit! It's Tom Green! It's Tom Green!" That was an awesome moment. Actually, that was probably the funniest thing that happened in the theater that day, including the film. Although I like. Would you like some sausage? It just, I don't know. Tom Green does not do well for long format like films. I don't think. I think that's the main issue. It's funny in 20 minutes in a half-hour show, but like an hour and a half, ooh. Small doses, exactly. That's like all of MTV for me. That's why I could always look at MTV for a while, but I could never watch MTV. I just feel like I'm getting stupider. Punked too. Actually, this was 2 nights ago, around like 3 in the morning on Japanese TV. They were broadcasting Pimp My Ride. Oh my god, is that show popular? Really? It's so shittily done. Because I'd heard about it, but it's kind of badly done. Like the episode I saw was this guy, this incredibly hideous human being. I'm sure he has a beautiful soul though, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't get any ladies because my car is so shitty." And it's like, dude, I don't think it's the car. But anyway, they pimp out the car, and at the end, they bring on this really hot girl, and they have her sit in the car with him for like 30 seconds, and a bottle of champagne, and like he can't figure out how to open the champagne bottle, and they're like, wow, okay, see, now you can meet women, and they like that was pretty much the end of the show. And he's like, yeah, now I'm gonna meet the ladies with my car. It's like, and this is the other thing. Is like, how do you meet women with your car? I don't under. Do you shout at them on the freeway? Do you, for example, like whistle at them while driving past a sidewalk? I mean, I don't think those are very effective means of meeting other people. Like, was she gonna like run down your car? No. I don't know. So the show was interesting, but it looked pretty low budget. The Simpsons, for some reason, are the market used to be. I don't think they are anymore. Used to be the marketing like image for a thing called CC Lemon, like a lemon flavored soda. But the show is not popular here at all. It's really weird. So the characters were popular, but the show was not. Um, it's sort of like Snoopy. No one's actually seen any of the Snoopy cartoons here, but everybody likes Snoopy. Um, and Family Guy, not at all. Not at all. South Park, I mean, that also, it just doesn't translate. It's really doesn't translate. Yeah, it's seriously, they're just using characters for their advertising, but they didn't know who it was. Shin-chan, yeah, it's funny. I read a couple of the books. No, I didn't get a new microphone. I just fixed the settings on my Mac, which apparently were out of whack because I, for some unknown reason, installed Rosetta Stone and it changed all my preferences, fucked it up. Wordrak. I am working in Japan. This is where I have my jobs, plural. And so that's pretty much it. No, Akita, I'm afraid that's not. I would have to marry a local if I wanted to get the visa stuff. Actually, I'm filming a double episode right now, Dreamstar 9. No, Ebenezer, sorry, Ebenezer. A double episode right now on Traveling Cheap in Tokyo. And there's like 8 or 9 filming days total this month. But that won't come out. I think the studio is at the end of January, beginning of February. and so that'll come out in, when is it? Maybe middle of February. It'll probably be on TV, and actually by that point you'll be able to watch it on the internet. Actually, everybody will be able to see it on the new streaming JIB TV thing. So pretty awesome. Yeah, gas prices are down here too, but I mean, gas prices are always higher in Japan than in the U.S., for example. Yeah, I'm using Final Cut on my YouTube videos. Oh yeah, and actually the mascot, C, I think it was, kind of the rotund one. I don't think I have. I'm not sure if I have a picture of him. No, I don't. Oh well. It's hilarious. You know, I'll be honest. Gay men love me. I don't know why, but they do. I think it's because of my doughish eyes, my immaculate fashion sense, as you can tell by my brown shirt and yellow Doraemon tie. I could be a gay world, just star if I really wanted to, but it's not my calling in life. Not my calling. Ebenezer, I meant doe as in a young female deer, not as in baking goods. Actually, it's funny. I was talking to a gay friend about a month ago. This guy, I've known him for a long time. He's a really, really funny guy. And so I was just like, come on, Chris, be honest. If I was like, in the scene, right? I'd be like one of them twinks, right? I'd be a twink, right? One of those young hot bods that all the older guys want to go after. And he looks at me and he's deadpan. He's like, Kevin, that was like 10 years ago, but even then you wouldn't have qualified. You are now one of the old sketchy guys that would be creeping after twinks, or whatever they're called. And it was so weird because I was like getting this from like such a new perspective of how old I've become. Like he says, yeah, no, Cooney, you would no longer be like, maybe if you had a hairy chest you could be a bear, but sadly. This is so sad that we're communicating. It's not for you guys. Wait for it screenshot. That's hilarious. Communicating via thumbnail icons. I was gonna write. I started to write, but I am straight. But yeah, it's just being rude at that point. Who is this person? Do you guys actually know who the other person is? Oh, isn't the YouTuber? Okay. Come on, my arm's starting to hurt. God's sake. No, I'm not eating junk food. Can't believe that you would suggest that. Alright, well. Oh. But I seriously, I'm going to end it with that because I really do not need to get into a whole conversation with a gay YouTuber using thumbnails. That's just bizarre. Yeah, this is pretty much worse than text messaging. And creepy to boot. I seriously doubt he's going to. I don't know, Lemmy. That's a hard question. If it's accepted or not in Japan, I would say it's not that it's it's different. I mean, it's basically a Buddhist society, Shinto, Buddhist, Christian. But it's a Buddhist society, and there isn't the same fervor or fixation with the issue as you have in predominantly Christian Western countries. Because honestly, like there's no fixation on the issue in the Bible that I'm aware of. So it's really more of a cultural thing. I don't know why the West, particularly the U.S., which is fairly puritanical, has such a fixation on that issue. I mean, it's mentioned like tangentially, like 2 or 3 times in the Bible. Whereas like things about like the message about greed and sharing with the poor is mentioned on every page. Yet a lot of people spend the majority of their energy on that issue rather than like feeding and housing the poor. You know, so it's kind of, you know, or it's kind of curious to me. But living in Japan, you see how it's really not a focus of any type of energy. Like almost every chat show has at least one member of the show who is. But I mean, on a person-to-person basis, they like tend not to be out in front of their families and stuff. And like, you know, socially, I mean, in an office, like they would not. I think a lot of guys here probably get married just to make sure their family thinks they're straight. Anyway, yeah, I think the whole Buddhism Christianity thing is a really interesting way to look at the two countries in comparison. Of course, it doesn't explain everything by far. I think my most well thought out point on the whole topic is, and I've talked about this on here before, the horror films like analysis. You know, if you look at a Japanese horror film, basically everybody dies. Godzilla kills people randomly. There's no rhyme or reason to who dies or why. It's pretty much just you know, it happens, which is a very Buddhist view on life. Whereas, like in most American slasher films, horror films, it always starts like historically. I mean, it's been changing now, with some sin on the part of the main protagonist. It's the teenagers who are kissing in the woods. It's the you know, guys on a trip out, you know, and they go to, like, I think the Saw, one of the last Saw films begins with them going to a bordello in Europe, backpackers going to a bordello in Europe, and then from then they all get slaughtered. But like that's the typical, you know, message in all horror flicks. But there's usually like one person who's like morally good and fair, and that person tries really, really hard, and at the end is saved, which is like a very, you know, particularly Christian concept. Whereas like with Godzilla, you know, death basically comes randomly, and it's not because you did anything wrong. It's just nothing can stop a bad thing that might happen. There's also no judging of Godzilla. Godzilla is never viewed as being evil. Like whereas in horror films in the U.S., you know, there's a definite sense of this creature is evil. Like even if you look at Ju-on, The Grudge, it's more of a curse than it is an evil entity. It's not. It's bad karma, I guess. Not, and it's slightly different. But somehow the little boy Toshio in the film, he doesn't seem evil in the way like Freddy or Jason does. You know. And also, like in Japanese horror films, like I love how everyone dies at the end. Like no one survives. That's great. Yeah, he had to kill the character the first 30 minutes of the film because that's what happens sometimes. I haven't seen The Happening yet. The Happening is the one with the what's his name? Marky Mark, is it? Mark. No, what's his name? Mark Wahlberg. Sorry, yeah. Marky Mark. Yeah. And actually, I just saw Cloverfield recently again. It was pretty good. There's a Ramen Girl just coming out too. Is Juggling River Boy here still? Juggling River Boy, you here? He's gone. Actually, Juggling River Boy helped do some of the casting and stuff for Ramen Girl when that was filming here. Actually, it was like I just had another appointment that day, but I would have been in one of the scenes. I just happened to be working that day. The Ramen Girl is it's a pretty typical. It's like Karate Kid, but about ramen. It's not a horror film, but it's the most recent Western Asian fantasy movie. It's I can't remember the actress's name, but some famous actress who wants to become a ramen master, and she actually the guy who plays the ramen chef that teaches her is a really awesome actor. You know, Brittany something or other. But basically, Brittany Murphy. Yeah, Brittany Murphy is the actress, and she comes to Japan, gets stood up by her boyfriend, and she has nothing to do in Japan, so she decides to become a ramen chef. It could be good. I don't know. It looks pretty good. But it's a very, very conventional storyline, you know. Like, girl wants to do something, and the strict master is very difficult on her, but by the end of it, you know, he has been overpowered by her. He emotionally he falls like in love with the characters. The audience is supposed to as well. But it's about Japan. It's featuring Western actors, so I'm gonna have to watch it regardless. Oh yeah, no, Momme. It was made for a Western market, like specifically. It's Warner Brothers, I think, made it. I don't have the address on top. But if you go to YouTube and you just search Ramen Girl, the trailer will come up for it. Emergency Incas, you're right. The Aliens flicks, man, that's my favorite. Favorite series. But I think, I don't know, somehow sci-fi suspense is slightly different than horror. Yeah, ubiquitous geek. How do you think I feel? It's funny, actually, speaking of movie names, the movie Shay is coming out in Tokyo, I think this week or next week. And they retitled the Japanese name. I forget exactly what it was, but it's Shay, 28-year-old revolution or something like that. And it was just kind of funny. I was just thinking about that, how like the people in marketing in the U.S. pretty much they know you just name it Shay, and most people are going to be on page with what you're talking about, who you're talking about. And actually, even in the audio, like the narration for the Japanese coming attraction, they say like they actually was like, "You've seen him on T-shirts and didn't know who he was. Now watch the story of." Just like, really, really, that's how we have to introduce one of South America's most famous leaders. You've seen him on T-shirts. Now find out the story of Shay. It's just, but that's exactly it. They have to like try and pitch him, I guess, to the locals, because he's probably not nearly as famous, here as he would be. And also, I think in the States, so many people, like the States, for example, so many people of Latin American descent will go watch the film. I mean, even if you just had the Latin American community turn out to watch it, it would do a great box office. I mean, there's a lot of people who know, already very well who he is, I like Benicio del Toro. He's a great actor, but I'm wondering if the film can be any good, actually. Che Guevara, exactly. Che was on Stern. I seriously doubt that. I mean, of course, Benicio del Toro. Could just see that appearance, though. That would have been pretty awesome. It's about a revolution. A revolution. Yeah, yeah, Che, I know what you're talking about. We've got this machine that can. No. I'm in the most burger. Baba Booey. Yeah, Baba Booey and Shay. I can only imagine that. I came on around noon. Yeah, Aaron, seriously. There's no point in that question. It's funny, right? I love how like there's so many callbacks within one broadcast to people who were watching earlier. Like, so when someone asks a stupid question, no, I know, but I think the Pakistan reference was to an earlier comment by somebody else about another thing. It's really hilarious how it's the kind of like the spin off, and grow amongst themselves. It's really bizarre. Yeah, I guess it is a stand-up term. Shay looks like it could be a 4-hour-long movie, which is what's, caveat emptor. If you buy that ticket, you might be in for a long thing. But I don't know. I can't imagine it's going to be that great. because like it's such a difficult topic, and they're gonna have to try and please so many different people. That anytime they do anything like that, it always ends up sucking. You know, it's anytime you try and do a story about a famous political leader, it's gonna get fucked up at some point because Che Guevara was a militant revolutionary in South America. He came up in the same group as like Fidel Castro and a lot of other like South American, Caribbean like socialist leaders. Later, kind of apple. I'll let you know more when I know more. I'm pretty sure Fast Track. I'm pretty sure they're doing it as like he was a hero, a legendary hero, and what he did was necessary or whatever. But I mean, yeah, you could do that. That's the problem with any one of those leaders. Like, it really could go either way. It could be a hero, or it could be like a villain. But I'm pretty sure they're going for the hero route. Later. Yeah, don't get arrested. Wow. Pineapple is in England at the moment. DayZ, it's going very well. I guess to recap for all you folk out there who have been not here for the whole time, everything's going well. I've got a cold, but it's getting a little bit better. I was like producing more phlegm than I have body weight to spare, but the faucet has turned down, and very good, very good. I'm just going to be very, very busy from the next week or so. Things are going incredibly well, but there's a certain point at which I think I might have a mental breakdown due to the amount of work pressure I have. But other than that, it's all work I want to be doing. It's just budgeting time for it. And busy equals money, hopefully. That's my big hope. Hopefully by the end of February or March, I should have some money rolling in. 6 figures. Oh my god, I wish. Yeah, I took the job with the French guy. In fact, maybe today, but I'm not going to get around to it today. I'm having too much time. I'm having too much fun wasting time. Probably tomorrow, I'm going to get my own little desk in an office building, which is actually the first time I've ever gotten like a desk in an office building. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, but not a cubicle. Oh, no way. My apartment is 67,000 yen. Like, it's actually pretty cheap compared to what most people pay. And I need a swing line stapler. And I need someone in the office who's like my arch nemesis as well. Now, and this is the interesting thing about it. I haven't really talked about this to the staff there yet, but I'm going to try and convince them to let me blog my entire experience of starting, like, working at the company and do videos and show, like, the office and stuff like that, because, like, it's to promote the website, which is launching February 2nd. So I think it's a benefit to them. I think that would be really cool, but I don't know if they're going to allow me to film within the office. I think there's some privacy issues and stuff like that that they might not like. Well, this is a thing, Popcornage. I'm supposed to work totally around 20 hours a week, but it's not decided where or when I have to do it, and even that number has just been vaguely. So I might end up working a lot more than that on that one job, or a lot less than that. I really don't know. Tokyo Punch is just kind of as it is. You know, I don't think they've sold it. I'm working with the same group on pitching another project using the same character, but I don't know how that's going offhand. Yeah, actually, at Lana Nelson, there is a whole process you can go through where I could start my own business, but it's more difficult now. I think I'd have to have like, I forget how much, it's like $10,000 maybe or $15,000 in cash in the bank to prove that I have, like, it actually might even be more than that. Might be, I forget how much it is. Anyway, a certain amount of principal in the bank account to prove I have money to continue the company for a while before I can register the company. If I had a Japanese person do it, though, they can do it without that amount of money, I believe. The rules are quite complicated. I haven't gotten into it. And you have to have at least 2 employees, not including yourself. But you can have one person actually be employed. It doesn't say how much you have to pay them either. And you can be looking for another person, but not have found it yet. So there's ways to squeak around it. I've known people who have done that. And even like the principal, they've just borrowed the money for like the process, the paperwork process, and then returned the money at the end of the paperwork process. So I've heard there are ways to get around it. But yeah, actually, if I were running my own business, it would be a good way to get a visa. But again, I can't get, my visa now will end after I've been in Japan 9 years. And you cannot, no matter what you do, basically, absolutely cannot get permanent residency until you have lived in Japan 10 years. So 10 years or more. And it's a pretty much a set rule. There was one woman, a white girl, who had lived here like 15 years, but not continuously. Yeah, and don't forget that. I'm about to explain that, Akitan. She lived here like 15, 20 years, although not continuously. She had left a couple times and come back. And she's written like 3 or 4 books on Japanese culture and geisha, and actually became the first white geisha ever. And she was not given permanent residency because she did not have 10 years continuous living. And it's just, there's certain rules that they're set, and as soon as that, they can't, there's a little box, and if the guy can't check that box, then he can't approve the visa. So it's not discrimination, it's just those are the requirements for a certain thing. You know? Sorry, Fast Tracks, I'm really overworked as it is right now. I don't think I could have time to do a read-through. Sorry. Of a Japanese geisha, yeah. But I mean, so it's, you got to be here 10 years, and I'll finish my current visa at 9 years, so I have to renew it once anyway. And probably it'll get renewed for 3 months. You know, I'm sorry, 3 years. Sorry, 3 years, which will be 12, and at that point, they'll almost certainly have allowed it. If I'm not like freaking have left the country, gotten married, or something to that effect by then. Nah, not really, Dreamstar. They kind of don't care. Never, Yoshihead. Absolutely, almost never. It's very, very rare. Oh yeah, absolutely, Metal Gear. That's the thing, is I wouldn't get, I would not like to get married for the purpose of getting a visa. That's a really bad idea in my mind. and I'd like my visa status to be independent of my wife's decision to stay with or without me. So, I mean, basically, I'm gonna get my own visa no matter what. Yeah, you will never see me in jeans. It's very rare. Ubiquitous Geek. I think I talked about this once before, and I'm really not sure on this point. Now, what I've heard, because what the situation with the citizenship. First of all, let me just back up and say, there's no need to become a Japanese citizen. I cannot, for the life of me, understand why someone would want to become a citizen, if other than the process to become a citizen can actually be faster than becoming a permanent resident. As bizarre as that is. Japan currently does not allow dual citizenship. The US does allow dual citizenship. So you have to renounce the US citizenship and then bring that piece of paper to the Japanese government, show them it, that you've done it, to get the final approval that you're a Japanese citizen. Two things on this. One, Japan is thinking of changing that. They're already talking about possibly reviewing the law to allow dual citizenship. It's, the only reason is Japan, it has nothing to do with America and Japan. It has to do with Japan. Japan wants their citizens all to be citizens of and only of their country. This is a perfectly logical thing. They don't understand why America would allow, multiple citizenships in different countries. So Japan wants their citizens to be in their country. That's totally fine. But what I've heard is, and this is from like people in the State Department, stuff like that, vaguely in the State Department, is that in reality, if you have an American birth certificate, there's nothing you can do that would ever make you not an American citizen. Like, realistically. And so the US government will, like, provide you with that piece of paperwork because the Japanese government requires it. But if you became a Japanese citizen, this is my understanding, I really do not know if this is true or not. My understanding is that if you became a Japanese citizen and like a war broke out or something like that, or for some reason you decided you wanted to return to the US, the US government would be like, yeah, all right, come on. Like, it's kind of like, because legally in the US, once you were born in the United States, you are a US citizen. You can't undo that. It's kind of like a similar process with, like, this is random, but the homosexual marriages in, like, California, you can't, like, undo those marriages. Like, once something's been granted by the government, you can't revoke it. You can't revoke, like, someone's citizenship, really, no matter what they do. I mean, even if you were a terrorist, you're still a citizen. Like, so that I renounce my U.S. citizenship thing is just to help the paperwork for the Japanese government. Later on, But again, I'm not entirely sure on that, And that's, and I've only heard that in like a kind of like, when the rubber hits the road, this is the way it really works, Diane's on her way. DVD. Go through all 20 pockets. No. No. Only members of the armed security, only members of the United States military can go onto army bases in Japan. Or like their relatives, basically. The bases are closed to everybody outside the base. They usually open them like once a year for some type of culture festival or something like that. But there's Air Force, there's Yokota Navy Base. There's there's all branches have bases in Japan. You have to if you leave, if you declare, basically for a U.S. citizen living abroad, unless you make over a very large amount of money, which I don't, you just have to tell them that you're not living in the country and that you're not making income that's taxable in the U.S. And you have to just keep that every year. I say, hey, I'm still living outside the country and I don't make, it's like $60,000 a year. If you make over that, then you might have, it's more than 60,000. I think it might be 80 or 90. Then you might have to pay some taxes on the amount over a certain limit. But as long as you're not making money in the U.S., you can't. Now, if, for example, I made money, I haven't figured this out yet, my Google Ads money, for example, that's being paid to me from the U.S. It's like $100 over the last 6 months, so it's not really a huge issue. But I think technically that's income earned in the U.S. So my my YouTube partner, Google, $100 a year, that amount of money technically would be taxable. I have to declare that in the U.S. I don't know about a lot of money in taxation. Financial, to be honest, guys, I'm the last person to ask about financial stuff. I could not be more clueless. Vagabond. Which one? Like the one right now, or the one like the bubble burst? The Dragon MC. Right now, well, what caused it is American people no longer have any money to buy Toyota cars and Nintendo Wiis. So as soon as Americans stop buying Japanese-made products, Japan has fewer people to sell it to. So, yeah, I mean, it's direct. I mean, the Japanese economy is what they call an export economy, which means factories in Japan make products they sell to other countries. But if other countries don't buy those products, then the country loses money. Yeah, actually, Hewlett Packard, there is a Taco Bell at Yokosuka, or Yokosuka, or one of the other ones. I forget where it is. But there is a Taco Bell somewhere in Japan. I haven't been there yet, though. And as for the economy, give it a year. Give it a year and a half, 2 years. It always comes back. It always comes back. Like, as I've said this on here once before, but as I forget what economist said. It's a very good statement. He said, a recession in baking terms is like a baker saying he can't make flour because he has enough water, enough sugar, enough yeast, enough flour, but not enough ounces. I mean, it's hypothetical. I mean, all the money is still out there. The stuff, all the products are still out there. It's just not moving. Confidence thing, or like basically he's not breaking the bread because he thinks no one's hungry. Maybe that's another way to put it. How's the iPhone working for you, by the way? I keep walking past the SoftBank shop and looking at it. I have to make a phone call real quick. Hey, are you coming by? Okay. Right. Yeah, let's go for the front towards the windows. Cool. All right. Bye. So the analogy is just that it's like a baker saying, "I can't make any bread because I have flour, I have water, I have yeast, I have every ingredient. I just don't have any ounces." But ounce is it's just an idea. It's a concept. It's completely mental. The world didn't suddenly run out of physical abilities or natural resources. So all of this recession is based on like hypothetical, non-physical realities. It's not based on actual. I mean, it's not like the price of oil, for example, goes up because there's less oil. That's one thing. That's it's a physical resource problem, but that's not the cause of this recession. Actually, I don't really have a cell phone charm. There used to be. I don't even remember what it was, but there used to be something at the end of that string, but there's not anymore. I don't know what happened to it. I just got recently. Oh, where is it? I wonder if I have it. This is pretty awesome. Oh, what is it? This awesome little toy. It's like this. Maybe I lost it. Yeah, it's pickpocketed, perhaps. Likely not, though. I might have just left it at home this morning. Specifically thought I took it with me. I hate that when you can't find something and you have like 6,000 pockets, and then you start checking pockets you've already checked again, which you shouldn't do because they're not going to suddenly magically appear in the pocket you already looked in. That's it. I seriously, I feel like I remember when I was a kid watching my grandfather trying to find his glasses, and I have become that man. Towards the end, he used to just tie a string to his glasses and then tie the string to his belt loop, so he would never lose his glasses, and he could find them at all times on his body. Actually, it's not a really bad idea. I'm tempted to do that. Just tie all things to my body with a string. Yeah. Back pockets. I must have left it at home. Oh well. Hello.
Hello. Is this where you can get
Wi-Fi. Now, it's not 100% say hello to the internet, by the way.
hello to the internet? Hi. Hi. Remember me?
Yeah, they do. I said, I'm going to meet Diana. And they're like, ooh, is she the hot Hispanic girl?
Hispanic. From California, see?
No, she's not Hispanic. It's
I'm gonna have a
probably should be done. There's
Muchas gracias.
it's 15 minutes now, which I think is reasonable. There's one more time towards the end where you run through everything, and then you do one more small piece, and then you do the whole run through again. The second to last one, I think maybe it might be good to delete, but I was like,
Okay, well, I'll check it out.
and if there's anything audio or like that,
Okay.
all right.
Alrighty. Oh, shucks.
Mm.
Okay, good. I have to go then. Oh, I ordered a burger and I have to go soon. What about you? Some shirts? Happy New Year.
Oh, yeah, I got a
Hawaii.
present today. I'm very excited.
I have more for you at home, but I'm kind of self-conscious that you don't like it.
No.
Really?
This is
They're your size. It's really your size. Yeah, that's just that.
Oh, this one is definitely.
Isn't that nice?
Now, were these both the same size as the other one? Oh, I've always wanted one of these shirts.
Yeah.
It looks like somebody important in
I think
the
they're a
business
bit
world.
bigger.
Okay.
You want to try it on?
Not right now.
Why not? They say try it on.
I'm in a most burger.
You like Kevin's tie? Do you like Kevin's new haircut?
You like that, huh? Yeah. Shouting, try it on.
Hey, that girl behind you.
But no, this is really awesome. I've always wanted these ties, like with the white collar and the blue shirt. It looks like you do something important with
Oh, I see.
that type of shirt.
Oh yeah, she's just interested in us.
But no, actually, the other shirt, the gray one, that really was awesome.
Uh-huh.
That fit perfectly.
Oh good. Did you wear it? Did you put it to good use?
Oh yeah.
I have 2 more at home. I'm so happy. You like it?
Oh, nice. This is. I'm so touched. That's awesome. Oh, damn it! Your present.
She was probably like a Japanese who's 16. Oh yeah, the girl behind me.
We're trying to hunt them down, but there's a lot in the city.
Who's gonna dance? Me? I'm gonna dance. Whoa, Nicholas, watch your French.
So yeah, you're working today?
Yeah, I'm teaching lessons and I just have a break. I have to go back for another. And I ordered a burger.
That's most burger always takes too long.
I know.
Delicious, but they make everything like just then, which means it's like it's never comes in time.
What'd you get? Did you eat a burger?
Fries. No, I had a hot cocoa and some French fries.
Well, my burger comes after I leave. You can eat the burger.
Better and better
I
by the
know.
moment. I'm totally winning out. What kind of burger did you get though?
Yakiniku burger.
Ooh, with the rice bun.
I love it.
That's pretty good. It always falls apart though.
I know. So you should eat out of the camera or they make fun of you.
That's probably well. They'll do that either way.
Hey, I'm looking for a new place. Do you know
Moving?
any? Yeah.
I've been looking for a new place for like a
I
year
know.
now. Yeah.
I might move into Stacy's place. So
Yeah, I still haven't been there.
it's great.
You know, like Michiro.
Did you have a good vacation?
I worked most of it. So,
Yeah. It didn't really change, huh?
No, I have a cold now. So.
Did you get your laundry done?
Yeah. Oh yes, actually, I got that done.
I
It's been
wanted
so
to
nice.
come over and help you do your laundry. It was that bad.
It was that bad. Yeah.
It was like literally a mountain of laundry, and I was like, "You need some help."
Yeah. Well, it's
And-
epic. It's epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a help. I think I'm a helpful person, semi, but I'm a helpful person to people in need.
But yeah,
and
exactly.
that was her screaming at me.
It was more like a like Mother Teresa Bangladeshi child kind
Yeah.
of help than like a tutor.
I've never seen
Student.
anything like that.
Yeah, there's
That's off the charts. That means you have a lot of clothes.
well actually these 2 shirts are great now because now once all my clothes are dirty, I can wear those, and so it extends the amount of
Yeah.
time before I need to do laundry.
But what I did during the break was laundry. It was like every day is a sunny day. You had to wake up on
Yeah.
time and then you have to dry it outside and you have to bring it inside, put it by the heater.
Well, that's the thing. I think I would do laundry much more often if it wasn't for the hanging outside and
Yeah.
drying it thing.
You need to buy I need to buy a dryer thing or the coin laundry was great when I used the coin laundry, but you have to bring it to the place. Then you can get 4 loads of laundry
If
done.
it's close enough, it's not that bad. And then it's just like the price because it's like $1, per load.
$1 per load, but it gets all done at once.
Yeah,
Been busy?
very, very.
Really?
I'm now so overworked. It's insane.
Really? What kind of projects are you doing? Oh,
Damn it! Came while she was still here.
Oh, thank you. I forgot to tell him thank you.
Oh no, so I didn't put the menus on and
Uh-huh.
stuff. I still have to do that.
Here you go.
But as long as the
I appreciate
video
it, though.
itself is okay. And seriously, any last changes you
Yeah,
want?
sure. I'll look at it and
Let me
you
know.
didn't put a menu.
Mm.
And man, 2009, I'm just waking up to it. Here, have some.
No, seriously, I'm good.
2009. I wasn't ready for 2009. Mmm.
Look at that. Yeah.
Mmm. Yakiniku
The
burger.
yakiniku burger. Nice.
Everyone got fat over the holidays, and I lost weight because no one cooked for me.
Yeah, no, seriously, I've been
I
losing
stayed up
weight.
till 4 watching videos. Wake up late. When you stay up late, you just don't.
Who is it? Like Layla said the other day to me. She's like, "You would be so cute if you were not so skinny." It's like, oh, it's true. Like
You're
I
cute anyway.
oh, see. No, but seriously, I lost so much weight. I gotta start putting on the pounds. I was doing this thing for NHK, and there was a scene like one of the Ikawa shows on Channel 3.
Yeah.
And of course, they cast a scene for 2 guys in a race, and I got to get to like these little tight running shorts and a like T-top, and like it was just horrible.
Hey, you told me.
No, you're late.
Damn.
She's
I
like,
want to chill out here. Hey,
You're
you're gonna
done
be
back-
here at 4? In an hour? You have to go, huh? You teach it. Got your day back.
yeah, no, I'm done with that. That was just before New Year's.
For 4 years?
Before New Year's.
Oh.
I'll mail you in a bit if I'm still gonna be here. I'm supposed to meet somebody,
Oh, sorry.
but that was before stuff. Oh, eat and walk.
Tachigui. No.
Would that-
Tachiguiじゃない. I'm gonna eat more.
Yeah.
You have to
What would that
eat
be? Haruki.
Arukigui.
Arikigui? Yeah. I don't think that's it, but
Hogui.
because I think they don't do it. No, they don't.
Sampogui.
They don't know how to say it. There's no way to say it because it's so wrong. Oh,
What's a mudkin?
she said nom. That is pretty awesome.
What's nom?
Nom. It's the sound like Homer Simpson makes when he eats. Nom. Nom. She's damn cute.
Oh, that's nice.
That's nice.
What's mudkin? I'm not cute on camera though. I don't like this camera.
Yeah. Ah. Where's my lighting?
Yeah, the lighting's bad.
All right, have fun teaching. I'll email you if I'm still here, but I'm supposed to be. I have to meet this guy Hiroki. I'm not actually.
Here, you can have the rest of my burger.
Okay.
Will you eat it?
No.
You won't eat it? Then I'll take it.
Take it.
You're not gonna eat it?
I'm good.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
And I'll watch the TV here.
Yeah, and just give me any final requests you have for any changes. See? Yeah, I think she just caught my cold too, probably. But no, she's like, she actually has like a good diet probably and takes vitamins and things. So I doubt she would get sick. Me, on the other hand, I'm basically just a walking bag of bad habits. Oh, Bessie, thanks for the Facebook now, by the way. Sorry I haven't written back to it. Tordrak, that's kind of funny. There's this great bit this guy Dave has, because like, you know, when we see other foreigners like in the street, right, there's always this weird thing like, what do we do? Do we, you know, acknowledge each other or not? And different people have different opinions on it. But my friend Dave has this one great idea. He's like, if you notice, like, you know, African Americans in like the U.S., they took the handshake, right? You know, white people just do the handshake, and they like kind of like they did it their own thing with it, and they made the handshake like really cool. So then white people looked at it and like, oh wow, that's cool. That's cool. It's like the handshake, but they've got their own kind of special handshake. But that's the role of like a minority group. So we as foreigners in Japan should take the bow and like mix it up a little bit. So instead of like doing the bow, we should do like that, like a little to the side, or maybe like a shimmy, you know, like that. Like, so when foreigners greet each other in the street, like we should do this like other type of bow. And so like all the local Japanese are like, oh wow, that's so cool. That's an awesome. Yeah, chest bump. Well, chest bump is already chest bump. It needs to be a new kind of bow that's not being used by anyone currently. But I think that would be very cool. Yeah, backwards bow. Mm. Oh god, no, the TokyoCooney Facebook page. I feel really weird about that. That's odd. I'm I'm appreciative, but it's I don't think it's necessary. I really don't think it's necessary. So unnecessary. Wait, hold on, I have to go take a legendary Waz. I'll be back. He's taking a dump, Yoshi head. I was not. Save that for when I get home, my palace. Yeah, it'd be pretty fast. Hey, and I can do that. I'm a commando. I can paratroop that thing. Well, it's partly the, I think, the lighting here and the fact, of course I do have a cold, but... Yeah, well, she has to go to work, sadly. Sadly. I don't know, she said she was coming back at 4, but yeah, I kind of have work. I'm trying to think out the math on this. Nah, it's not really worth it, because I'd have to leave soon after. See if I can do this. Hey, Mish Mish. Oh. まだ終わったんだけど、何時から大丈夫ですか？あ、OK。そしたら、なんか17時、一応今六本木だけど、うん。ドンキの向こうにあるの、スタバ、うん。スタバしてる？はい、あっちにいる。はい。ありがとう。また。So, I think I'm going to be out of here in about an hour. So, not going to be long enough for Diane to get back. I believe Diana is Thai in origin, but she grew up in California. Oh yeah, the bizarre foods thing, it's ridiculous. I've never had a video up there that's had more than, I don't know, like 2 stars of the rating. It's like the stars go down so quickly because basically everyone on that site is just trying to be like, because I think they think actually that whoever gets the most stars is the one they pick. It has nothing to do with that. It's like, even if, like, and this is, their goal is to make a good TV show. So, like, for example, like, I don't think I would be a good guest on the show because I would actually be more interesting than the host. And that they don't want the show to have the guest be more interesting than the host because, you know, then they'd have a pretty shitty show. So it's like they have to find someone who will be like a little Zimmerman, like, fanite, but even a guest celeb, you know, like who they want as a guest, I think is quite different. But I don't think it has any connection to what people vote or how many stars you get or how many views it gets. I don't think that really has any connection at all. And also, yeah, I totally fucked up his last name. I called him Zimmer, which I feel bad about. I do actually. I watch the show occasionally. I'm not a huge fan compared to Bourdain, but yeah, actually, I spelled his name wrong in the text, so that's definitely not going to be good for my credit. Hopefully, they won't be too bothered about that. But actually, I did have to, in making that video, just slightly up the amount of interest I have in the show compared to reality. And also, like, I had to up like 6 or 7 videos on the Travel Channel website, but they're all gone now. I have no idea why, including the one where I went to Ice Cream City, which was up on Travel Channel website, but all those videos are gone. It's weird, Akane. It's definitely, according to people's comments, I peaked with the Ice Cream City video. That's always noted as the best video. But I don't know, there's certainly not the ones I like the most. Actually, I'm thinking of uploading just a very, very, very brief video tonight or tomorrow morning, not a regular video, just to recommend this thing I've seen on YouTube, which is called Earth Marathon. There's a Japanese comedian named what's his name, Kaipei or Kaisei, I forget his name. Anyway, he's running from Osaka and running and swimming from Osaka around the world and back to Osaka. And it's going to take him 2 years, and he's doing a YouTube vlog every day and a written blog as well about the whole process. And it's really cool. But basically, he's taking 2 years off from his career. And he's run many marathons before. He's run like 20, 30 marathons. So he's actually really into this stuff. But it's, yeah, his goal was to go around the world completely. And I think, let me see if I can find the website. But I rarely recommend things specifically. But I think that's kind of cool. No, he's not swimming it. He's in a small like boat sailing across the. Actually, he's on day 22 now. He's just gotten a little bit outside of Japan. Here we go. So this is the link to the homepage. He's not, he's a comedian, but he's not actually one of the most famous comedians in Japan. He's pretty funny, and he's more just, he's in the class of people we call Gainojin, which means he's just on TV a lot. Doesn't really do anything specifically. He's also not so young either. He's got to be in his 40s, but it's kind of cool. So I was gonna make a video just to promote that, just because it looks cool. I mean, and it's the kind of thing that, like, I think 2 years from now, if you really put in that much daily effort, like just a little bit, daily effort, you could probably be speaking Japanese by the time he gets back to Osaka. I just thought that as a concept to try and motivate people who are talking about studying to actually start doing something every day. I don't know, maybe think of it like just a little bit each day. 2 years later, who knows? Maybe you'll have improved your language. Crabs. I don't really like any style of Japanese music. That answer bluntly. Are there any immersion programs in Japan? It's called living here, No idea what's on the radio right now. Well, actually, the other thing, like Dreamstar, what you just said, I agree, and I wish more people would understand that. If you don't really have a reason to learn Japanese, don't. I mean, you're not going to learn it well if you're not really motivated to do it. So, I mean, because I see this all the time with Japanese people. They feel like they're supposed to learn English, and it just becomes a stress to them. And they always think about, oh, I should study, I should do this, I should do that, I should do that. And I want to tell them, look, just don't. Just give up on it. Just forget about it. Move on. Find some other hobby that you will enjoy, and spend your time thinking about that. But like, if you don't have a really good reason to, or really good motivation, then just accept it as the way it is, you know, and don't stress about it. Yeah, Hewlett Packard, that's a good way as well. That's basically my first year. I spent most of my time with a pad and pen just in bars trying to communicate with people. Akane. No, I don't have any plans to film at Super Potato in Nakayama. I'll keep that location in mind. I did my one Akihabara video. I might do one more in the future, but not for a while, because maybe when I finally have enough money to buy that projector, I'll make a return to Akihabara video. But again, things like Akihabara, there's already so much information out there about that place that I don't really see the point of me adding to it. You know, there's enough. Like, nobody needs my opinion on it. And I don't really know much about Akihabara. I mean, Tokyo Swan, I mean, go watch his videos if you want to see that. Like, I think he did a couple on Akihabara, and he apparently knows where stuff is. Obesity is definitely not a problem in Japan. The government is cracking down on what they call metabolic syndrome, which is waistlines of men over a certain age, but it's very thin. Everyone here is thin, pretty much, except the sumo wrestlers. That's about it. Oh, I've already done an Osaka video. I'm actually going up to Nagano the end of this month to do a comedy show at a hotel. I'm probably going to do a video of that. It's weird though with the obesity in Japan, because the younger generation are eating a lot more crap than the older generation. So probably obesity is going to increase and life expectancy will start decreasing in Japan in the relative near future. I mean, I've seen Japanese people like 6'5", 6'6", you know. Basically, my brother is 6'7", and I use him as the guide for his 206 centimeters. He's like my guide for tallest person, and I don't think I've seen anyone taller than my brother, but I'm 185 centimeters, which is, I guess, what, 6 feet? I don't know, Banzi, like, about the job market in Japan. It's not as bad right now. It's tightening up though, and it's going to get worse. But the thing is, as a foreigner, like for me, I'm in such a specialized industry, I'm kind of insulated from the economy. But most foreigners are in very specialized industries. And for example, like English teachers, I mean, when the economy gets bad, people want to add to their skills, you know, so English schools tend to do well during recession periods. The real problem is people who are working like temporary jobs, you know, like temp jobs, which means like they're with a company for like a 2-month contract. The contracts don't get renewed, so they lose their job. And a lot of people fall into that category. Oh yeah, Dragon MC. I mean, marriage is particularly rare nowadays. Most Western countries it's the same. I mean, people are getting married later and later. It used to be that the average, woman would get married at like 23, but now it's like 30. I mean, and having kids as well. The average woman in Tokyo has 0.9 children, so that means there's less than one child for each woman, which is less than half the number of children you need to have in order just to replace the population that as it currently is. So, but no, it's 0.9 in Tokyo. It's 1.3, I think, in the country at large. Maybe 1.4. But basically, it means that the population will start dramatically shrinking, and that's really, really not a good thing for the economy. Also, like before long, the number of people over 65 will equal the number of people under 65. So how do you pay for all of those retired people? You know. No, just talking about the population decline and the graying of Japanese society, which is definitely a huge issue for them. But yeah, it's not just Japan. France, Italy, Germany, also. America doesn't. We're a bit of a unique case because we have such large amounts of immigration, and actually Europe has also a lot of immigration, so they have dealt with it that way. But Japan is not allowing immigration. So yeah, because with the EU and whatnot, France, Italy, all those countries can find a labor force. Well, if you ask Japanese people, they'll say it's because it's too expensive to raise a child. I don't know if that's true. I think people just want to have the freedom of not, whether it's a good idea or not, they want the freedom of going on vacations and buying brand stuff and things like that. So they don't, having a kid is seen, yeah, with their careers and working, they don't want to. I mean, Japan allows immigration, but it's just very, very little. Very little. I mean, like, I think last year they allowed something like it's like 23 refugees into the country, compared with the U.S. that allowed in like several thousand. The U.S. accepts thousands of refugees every year, and Japan accepts like 20 or 30. So, yeah, most kids are only children. Most kids grow up in single-child homes. But again, it's just a demographic change. And I look at my own family, as education level and family income increases, the number of children basically gets lower. My grandfather, was first in the family in the country, had 12 brothers and sisters, so 13 kids total. Irish Catholic in New York City. Then my family, my dad, he had 5 brothers and sisters, so that's 6 kids. And my dad was the first one to go to university. He went to St. John's, right? So he was the first person in the family to graduate university. And then my family, me and my brother, just 2 of us, and both of us went to, private universities. My brother and I probably both more, I wouldn't say more successful, but definitely had much more opportunities at 23, 22 than my dad did graduating St. John's. So, I mean, it was as the family, and also the family moved from a really shitty area called Hell's Kitchen, eventually out to Queens, was where my dad grew up, and then from Queens out to Long Island, where we had a house and grass lawn and things like that. My grandfather, 12, 13 kids, they were all in a single apartment room. I grew up, I had my own room in my family's house. So it's weird how, as people have more money, actually, the number of children become fewer. Randy Lover, is your question? Yeah, can anyone move to Japan if they want to? I've explained all of this stuff many times before in other places. Look at my YouTube channel. It's the same name as this user. And look at the videos called FYI. FYI housing, FYI work, FYI visas. I explain all of that information there if you're really interested. But if you look into it, it has all that information on my YouTube channel. Yeah, go ahead. Oh yeah, and I actually, Ebenezer, totally true. I ended up going to, I was going to go to bed around 1 a.m. last night, but I stayed up till like 2:30 in the morning because I just realized Daily Show was back on. I was like, oh, Daily Show. So I had to catch up on Colbert and the Daily Show last night. I'm so excited. I miss him. I will never go into Japanese politics. Although there is a Swedish guy in the Japanese parliament, one of the houses. And there's a gaijin mayor of a town. As I said, search for the video that says FYI. And actually it could be F.Y.I. There's also a playlist, if you know how to use YouTube. There's a playlist that explains all of it. Oh, no, I understand you're new. No worries. Well, I mean, yeah, they're not, well, they're token, yes, but I mean, they were elected by the local populace. So, considering how few people are actually foreigners living and citizens in the country, 2 people in government, it's pretty impressive. But no. If anything, actually, I have to kind of wind down. It's time for me to get going. I have to do. Well, that's and popcornage. That's another very interesting and fascinating issue, which I probably can't get into now. But Japanese basically have extremely protective tariffs on agricultural products, specifically rice. So the government puts lots of money into protecting their rice farmers. So Japanese rice is cheap. It's very expensive or difficult to find foreign rice in Japan. But the reason they do that is because if the market was actually at an even playing field, Japanese farmers could never compete with foreign grown rice. If that happened, all of the farms would go out of business. A lot of these local agriculture producers would disappear, and all of Japan's food would be imported. That is a huge, that's a huge danger, because your security, national security, basically is at risk. Because if a war breaks out, the price of oil, something goes up, there's no food for the island. So if you can't produce a certain amount of your own food, your country can come in great danger. So it's a very big issue. But countries in Asia get pissed off at Japan for having protectionist agricultural tariffs, but at the same time, without that, the local agricultural industry would, disappear, and then the whole island had to import all of its food, which is fine in one way, but it also means it's a security risk, and also it's a cultural risk. You lose a lot of traditional culture and farmland and things like that. That's part of the nation, and unemployed as well, Crabs 8518. That's a really good question. That's tough. One thing I still can't get used to. All right, here's one. This water cup, for example, is just incredibly small. It's like a shot glass. I will never get used to that. I need a bigger water glass. I mean, it's nothing. That will piss me off until the day I die. That's one of many examples. But then again, there's a much lower amount of diabetes in Japan, so maybe their drinking cups are the size they should be. Not sure when I'll go back to the States. I have no plans in the near future. Human Tetris, though, I mean, to be honest, it's become a whole different thing in the U.S. I mean, it started here as a section on a show, not an entire show to itself. And it was like comedians only who would be on the show as contestants. And it was all done on purpose, so it was like a joke. You know, it was like a setup, like an easy one, and then like the comedian who's usually the fall guy, like the guy you fucking kids looking at, poke you in the eye with my hand. But they did it all as like a joke. But somehow now I've heard it's becoming a show on the U.S., but they're taking it seriously, like it's an actual competition. But I don't see how it can work. Like, it's only funny when it's famous people doing it, and you know, I don't see how it could work as a competition. Actually, when I was working on I Survived a Japanese Game Show, that was the same problem. Like, a lot of the Japanese game show stuff are designed for famous actors to do. And it's intentionally done to be funny. Like, if you really wanted to win, you could win it easily. Like the hole in the wall thing, like, you know, Human Tetris as they call it. You just dive through it. If there's really money on the line, you can go through easily. You know, and so yeah, it's kind of defeats the point of the show. Also, like, you know, it's famous people doing it. So it's sort of like, imagine Hollywood Squares is the cast, but that's the game. So it's basically the same as like Hollywood Squares, with actually slightly better, more recognized famous people. It is technically possible to own a gun in Japan, but it's extremely difficult. The only people who generally own them are hunters in certain areas of the country that have animal problems like bear and deer. But even that is really difficult to get. It's very, very, very restricted. Also, on the thing, I was a night camera operator on all the house sequences for the I Survived. And all around do this gopher boy as well, because I spoke Japanese and almost all the crew were from LA. No one spoke Japanese, so I had to I had to translate what was on their food for them, because no one could read it, like, you know, what it said on anything. It's not technically in my job description, but you're the only person on the set who speaks Japanese, you know. Actually, the money on that was horrible. Absolutely horrible. But it was a good show. I enjoyed it. They're really nice people. I mean, working with those folks was a lot of fun. I think the second season, I can't do it. I just have too much work. I have way too much work to do, like, here. That's more important to me. So it would be fun to do it, but they're not going to give me a job that I would want, probably. So, and also it's a one-off gig, so I don't know. But if I happen to have time in my schedule, I might do it. I don't know. Mama-san was awesome. She was great. Her as a guest. Oh, she lives in LA, actually. As far as I know, she's in California right now. She used to be quite a famous singer in Japan, but she's trying to do her career in LA now. Krabs, you're asking the wrong person when you want to talk about Japanese popular music. I have no idea. Well, country blues, really. I know a little bit about country. Yeah, Jero, the African-American Inca singer. He's pretty awesome. He's still doing well. He's still doing pretty good sales, from what I understand. Yeah, I would say I agree with Metal Gear's statement. Yeah, Rip Slime's pretty good. I enjoy Rip Slime. Southern All Stars, Mr. Children, Orange Range a little bit, you know, Dragon Ash definitely, but that's about it. There's a female singer, pretty much no. All right, I think I must get going soon, guys. Apologies, but I've got work to do. Yeah, hopefully I'll have an actual guest for next time, for more than like 10 minutes. So tune in next week if you can. Should I record this real quick? Hey, this is TokyoCooney, just saying hello. My next show will be on, hopefully with a guest. Haven't figured out who quite yet, but I'll be broadcasting live from Tokyo Wednesday night, 10 p.m. On East Coast Standard Time of the U.S. or 12 noon Tokyo time. So if you're around, stop in and say hey. Love to have you. Hope the year is going off to a good start for you. Thanks. Bye-bye. Laters, guys. I hope you're all well, and yeah, talk to you sometime soon.